Life, it comes at us like a train with all its ups and downs, its pains and its joys. How do we deal with it? How do we process it? How how do what we learn from life, and especially what we teach life back in return, makes all of the difference. Welcome to Life Talks.
So 13 years old, go to the doctor by yourself, get the results by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then come back and tell her, and then she gets to tell you what your child is going to look like because it's a family member. You said the same DNA that has been raping you, and are you pregnant for him? You decided with that visual that you don't want to have this child because this child is going to look like a monkey, and you
Mm-hmm.
tell her no.
I went to meet my mother when I was 15.
Okay.
That was when I met her for the first time. And for the first time in my life, I was able to see and know when I was born, because my dad always tell me that I was born somewhere in December, and I never had a birthday. I never had anything celebrated when I was growing up until 15, because he was not sure when I was born. And I learned why, the story later, what happened, why he didn't know, because he wasn't in the country and my mother had me. And then when he came, I was alone by myself, a little baby, and he didn't like the condition I was in. So he took me away, fought my mother, cut her, and took me away to the country and gave me to his parents. So she knew where I was, and she never came to look for me. So this was another trauma, because when I met her, I reached out and I was like, why didn't you come and look for me? She said, oh, I had other kids to take care of. That just, that was like somebody driving a knife in my heart more than, it was already cut up in pieces. And there was a little piece and a little hope that was left, that I was hoping that she would say, I'm so sorry, my baby, whatever. She said, oh, I had other kids to take care of. And your dad is okay. He makes the money so he could take care of you. And that was her response to her knowing where I was, but never in 15 years try to contact me.
Yeah.
So that hurt. That hurt.
Yeah, I mean.
So, yeah. So
and you were
now
the
I
only
have
one of her children that was taken.
Yeah. I was the fourth for her, but the first for my father. So she had four of the children. Three of the children, she had four because she had 5 children in total. But I was the fourth one. And so, of course, she was taking care of the others. And I was just number 4. It wasn't important, So, yeah.
So you're living with her and you find out that you have a birth certificate, you have a birthday,
I went to visit her and I
now.
got it. Yes, yeah. I got my birth and I was so excited because now I was turning 16.
Yeah.
So it was a big thing for me, My stepmother was a teacher, so of course, whenever she was at school, I would go and hang out with her in the teacher's lounge. So I know the teachers, and I was so excited. I was like, because now we're moving to this place. I am now going to the school that she's teaching at, even though the school stops at 9th grade. But, I'm still going there. I'll help her out in her classes and stuff because, I'm not in school anymore. I completed the 9th grade there, which I didn't know, I didn't know nothing, but I completed, and they made me, the day that, the graduation day, she said, oh, go graduate. And I just walk up and I was graduated from 9th grade.
Okay.
So, so when I was turning 16, I was so excited because now I have a date. I can tell people I am born on December 12th. So, my birthday is coming up and I'm turning 16. So I was super excited. And one of her teacher's friend one day gave her a card to give me, and she said something about sweet 16 and beautiful, whatever, beautiful card. And the way she gave that card to me, you know, it was like she had this hatred for me that I don't understand why this woman hated me. And she gave me the card with this look in her face. Anyway, the Saturday, which was Sabbath, was the 12th, which was my birthday. So, you know, I'm super hyped. The week before, you know, I told my group, because I was in a singing group that we used to call the Cherubins. And I told my guys, hey, I'm going to be 16 next week. You know, I'm so excited because this is the first time, you know, you're knowing that this is when you're born. And so the Sabbath morning, I get up and I get dressed and I put on try to find one of my prettiest dress. And, you know, and as soon as I walked in the room to go and help get my brothers ready, because now I'm ready to leave, she started fussing at me. And she cussed at me and just said, look at you, you're dirty. You don't even beard yourself right. And your neck is black, because my neck was darker for some reason than my face. And she said it was dirty and you're not going anywhere. And she locked me in the house and they left. On my birthday. Not one family member, no one in the house told me happy birthday. Not one single person. Not even my father. Even how I'm bragging and excited and talking about it. He'd get up and he left, even though I made his breakfast before he left. And not one person said happy birthday. Not one. And now to add, she locked me in the house and everybody's gone.
And this is your stepmother again?
Yes. And I'm 16, the day of my birthday. The only day that I knew that I was born. And they left.
Carlene, so clearly, the younger years, you know, your formidable years into your preteen and all of that was just riddled with trauma upon trauma, rejection, abandonment. I mean, you name it. It's like the full gamut of childhood experiences that would cause you not to be a successful adult, right?
Yes, definitely.
It was like a setup that you were not
failed.
supposed to succeed. You're not supposed to be here today. You're not supposed to be looking as you're looking. But obviously we know God's grace definitely was covering you, and you have found a way to triumph over this. I'll preface this by saying I want us to do another show so that we can talk about that other gap, because you did end up getting married, you're divorced, but you have a daughter. You have a beautiful daughter who's a nurse. I mean, I met her. The Lord has blessed you, and He has begun to restore what the enemy tried to steal from you, including your life. And obviously you've gone through so many other things, but you ended up now, you have a double master's.
Yes.
So, listen, I will roll the queendom that you are, right? So you have a double master's, and you are a businesswoman. You work for yourself. You have you're an entrepreneur. Your daughter is successful. You've raised a successful daughter. Very beautiful, smart, brilliant young woman. You survived divorce.
Two divorces.
Girl, and everything else. And man, look at you standing right now, smiling. Yes, through the tears, but there's still a reason to smile. I had been saying that a lot of times we start our businesses out of a need, right? And I know one of the needs for you was financial, because you tried to compensate for the diploma and all of that. But here you are now. You went through beauty school.
Yes, nail school.
Nail school. So plus now you have your license. So 3 degrees. I call it a degree. It's a lot. And you have a grand opening. You open your business, and here you are serving clientele, and if anyone walks in, they'll never know unless they ask or unless you share. So tell me what the difference was, because again, I try to do these shows so that individuals who are in this position and feel that there's no hope can look at someone like you and say, oh my gosh, this is my life story. And this is what I want to do. How did she do it? How did she break free? How did you come through this for you to be here now? We know it's not a microwave solution. We know it didn't take 2 days. But if you can give three things that were key in helping you become this, you were always phenomenal. You were always beautiful. You were always a child of the King. Yet here, the manifestation of that royalty is before us. What are 3 things that you credit to where you are right now?
Okay, 3 things. I had an encounter with God.
Okay.
And this was after my 4th suicidal attempt. I had a head-on collision. It wasn't intentional, but I had tried before. So when I was about to have the accident, I was at peace because I realized at this point, my pain could be resolved in this manner. So yes. So I was lying in the hospital. I had a brace on my neck. They had something on my back, and I was in a stiff position because it was a head-on collision. My car was total.
So you went into oncoming traffic because you wanted to kill yourself?
No, not at that point.
Okay.
This one was really an accident. Somebody did a bad turn. I swerved, and somehow I lost control of the car. But while it was happening, I didn't regret it. I enjoyed it because I knew I was going to die. I saw that I was going to die, and I was at peace because I wanted to die.
Because you were in so much pain, and you needed.
I was in so much pain. Yes. And this was back in 2003. Yeah, 2002, 2003. And I've been through relationship, divorce, and there was always this darkness in my life. I go out and I dress up and I look good. I'm at church. I'm officiating. I'm singing on the choir. I'm praise team. Yes, and I'm everything. I'm everything. I'm ushering people in, and I have a beautiful smile on my face. I go to work and I sell cars, and I'm one of their top salesperson. But I was dying inside. It was like I was decaying and falling apart. And so when the accident happened, I didn't regret it. But while the accident was happening, I recognized Satan in the accident. And he was laughing because as far as he was concerned, he got me now. And that was when the Spirit said to me, pray. And I was like, no, it's too late. I'm already gone. It's too late. I cannot pray at this point. And the Spirit said, pray. He said it to me about 3 times. And the only thing I remember saying was, "Jeez."
Ooh, not even the full word.
No, not even the full word. All I can remember was saying, "Jeez." And I remember because I didn't know what happened at the time. Now, this is me in the hospital listening, because prior to that, I had confronted a preacher who had come to our church and talk about how God allows certain things to happen in your life for his glory, to help to mold you, to make you into the person that he wants you to be. And I accosted this man at the door, and I lashed out at him, and I said, who dare you tell me that a God who is so loving could allow something to happen, all these things to happen to a child?
Right.
And I cussed this man out. And he was very gracious. He took me in the back of the church. And we sat down and we cried together and we prayed together. And we were back there for hours talking because I couldn't understand God. I couldn't understand how could he be so loving and allow these things to happen to me. So when the man told me that when the pastor preached that, I went home and I said to him, I'm not going to talk to you ever again until you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are real and that you love me and that you value me. And I said, you and I are done. We're done unless you can prove to me that you do exist. And so when the accident happened, and I'm lying in the hospital in this stiff position with pain and all kind of tests. I think the tests that they did were more painful than the accident itself, because I woke up with loud voices with them saying, it can't be possible. You need to find something. Something has to be wrong with her. Nobody come through a head-on collision and they're not bleeding internally or something, broken bone. They sent me to do x-ray 3-4 times or whatever, all kind of tests. They keep doing it over and over to come up with something. There was nothing wrong with me. So here I am lying on the bed all by myself in this room, and it's completely white. And I heard the voice. And he said to me, is this proof enough for you?
Oh my gosh. Ah!
And I tried to look to the left and to the right, but because I'm wearing this thing on my neck, I can't really look. And the voice said to me again, is this proof enough? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And at that point, he gives me a glimpse of what happened. And at that point, I saw this huge hand that reached down in my car and cuffed me up like this. So I didn't feel the impact of the car. They had to pry my doors open to get me out of the car. That was how bad the accident was. And here I am lying on this bed, and he's showing me the slow motion of what was happening, because I didn't remember what had happened.
Yeah, so this is proof enough.
So that was my encounter with him, where he told me how much he loved me, and that and I said to him, why don't you die? Why don't you allow me to die? Why are you saving me for? Why let me die? And he says, no, I have something better for you. He says, you were never alone. I was always with you. I love you. I gave my life for you. And he reassured me and told me that he had a purpose for me. And it was at that point in time, lying on my bed, I got the vision of going into ministry. Never in a million years would I thought of doing that. Never. As I said, I left school in 9th grade. So going to school was not on my list. That was never a part of, I never went to high school. So for me to think of going into ministry, that was totally impossible.
And the other thing was the fact that pain was overriding all of your experiences.
Yes.
Consumed by pain, that you can't think about anything else.
No.
It's important for us to validate people's pain. Mm-hmm. And in validating their pain, also affirming them that we understand what pain does. Pain cripples you. Pain shuts you down. Pain sucks your life source out. And to get to the place where you want to take your life, a lot of people don't understand that some of the
you don't understand. It's a constant. You're in pain every single day. I wake up and I'm like, I'm alive. Exactly. Why am I alive?
Yeah.
You wake up and you're disgusted because you're alive.
Right. No, I'm so grateful that you're saying that. And again, it's important for us to say these things, because when this whole suicide talk, it's more than just someone just getting up and saying, oh, I don't want to be here. The same way we would beg our doctor to fill a prescription for Percocet because the pain is so bad, or in the hospital where you're hitting that button
because you're in pain
for the pain to come, and
think of that triple times over.
Exactly.
And there's no medication for it.
Exactly. Pain is real. Pain, trauma is real, and you have to be so loving and gracious to individuals who are in that spot, and be caring with those who are saying, I have suicidal thoughts, or I attempted it, or whatnot. We cannot stand in judgment of individuals, because the same way you will find a way to mask or to dummy down the pain, that's some individuals, that's the only thing that they can think of. And it doesn't mean that they don't have hope, because your pain doesn't mean that you're not hopeful. Pain can override your sense.
Everything.
It takes over everything. But how powerful is this conversation between you and God? Oh my God. I was ready to fly out my seat, because how powerful is he to come in and swoop down and answer
Yes.
the question and tell
Mhm.
you, no, we're not going to let the devil have this narrative.
Mhm.
I am in. I am your dad. I'm your father, and I'm going to make sure this thing works out for the good.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, I'm jumping ahead. So that's number one. What's
So
number
that's number one. Number two, there's so many, but I'm gonna try to find the most important. So after I had that encounter with him and he solidified my relationship with him and I gave my heart to him completely and I bawled. When I tell you, I never cried that much in my life. And it's like the tears were literally washing away all the darkness, all this darkness that was around me, all this pain. It's like I was completely washed and healed. I felt so loved. I felt so cherished. I woke up with a new zeal, with a new step, with a new, it was like
life.
for the first time I'm seeing light.
Yeah.
For the first time. And then one thing shortly after that, he told me that I needed to go and tell the person that hurt me that I forgive them.
Mm. Ooh. Yeah.
It was about 3 a.m. because I for some reason he would wake me up at 3 o'clock every morning and he and I would have our conversations. It was 3 a.m. in the morning, everything is silent. Mm-hmm. And he's telling me when I'm crying out to him to remove the pain out of my heart, to make me be free. He's saying the only way you're going to be healed. And when I'm saying that, I heard his voice as if you are communicating, but his voice is it's so sweet. It's so, it is so clear.
I know.
It is so beautiful. And here he's telling me that the only way you're going to be healed and set free is that you have to go and tell the person who hurt you that you have forgiven them. Toya, I tell him some words.
No.
I cannot repeat those words. I will be thrown out of the church, out of the community, out. I told him some words. You would think I was crazy because it was 3 a.m. There's nobody in the room, but I'm telling the spirit all these words that I will never, ever tell this person. Yeah. This person who ruined my life. This person who did all of these things. Never, ever would I tell him that I forgive him. And I was defiant. Mm. I said, no, it's not going to happen. I'm going to kill him. I said, that's the only thing I want to do is to kill him.
Yeah.
And this went on for a couple months. And I kept crying out to him because even though he healed me that day in the hospital, there was still a pain in my heart.
The process.
And I kept crying out to him, remove this pain, make me be free, let me loose. And he said to me again, I told you what to do. And at this point, this time when he said, I told you what to do, I was calm. Mm-hmm. And I was now more receptive to him. And I listened to him. He says, you want healing? You want freedom? This is what you have to do. And I didn't plan it. I did not plan it at all. In fact, I wasn't planning on doing it. I just listened to him because I tired of cussing him.
Right. So, he wore you down. You have no more energy to fight.
So I got a phone call from Florida. So I'm telling you, he's good, Toya. When I say God is good, every time I think where he brought me from, sometimes I'm so overwhelmed I can't even think. Latoya, I got a call from Florida. Kaplan University is calling me saying that I applied for an admissions position. I never applied for any job. They want me to come in for an interview. How did I apply for a job? I barely can use the computer.
Oh my gosh.
They said, yes, you sent your name, and they give me my full name. And they said, yes, you sent in your application for the admissions position here at Kaplan University. And we'd like to interview you for this position. So I said, okay, what do I have to do? You know, is there a test or something? She said, yes, you have to write a statement, you know, just write something, copy and paste it and put it in an email. And that is the test. Because computers were just coming in and I don't have computer. I don't use computer. So, and she said, that's what I need to do to pass the test. And I said, okay. So I asked my daughter to help me. And of course, we had an older computer, the big box computer, and she was showing me how to copy and paste and to send the email. So I practiced, and of course, I flew down to Florida to do the interview. She said, there are 3 interviews I have to complete in order to pass to get the job. So I asked her to arrange the interviews the same day, seeing that I'm flying down for the interview. I did not apply for any job, but this was a good opportunity. I wanted a fresh start with God, and I wanted a fresh start with my life, you know, and I lived a life to New York that, you know, New York was so easy to do everything. So I wanted to build my relationship with God. So this was a good way of getting out of New York. So, you know, I said, you know, could you please set up the interview so that I can have them all in the same day and stuff? And she said, okay, no problem. So I went down and I was greeted. I went in for to do the tests, you know, and I was greeted by this gay guy, and he was, oh, hi, come this way. And he led me to the computers. But then I started freaking out because these computers didn't look like the old computer I had at home. These computers are flat screen and more sophisticated. So all of these, seeing all these computers and all these, it started freaking me out because I'm not accustomed to computer. So of course I failed the test. Before I even tried, I failed. And I've never done this before. And I said to the guy, listen, I'm very nervous. Give me another chance to do it. And he was like, yeah, okay. How about you come back after lunch? Come back about 1 o'clock, you know, and you can do it again. And, you know, he went about his business. Girl, I drove to this realtor's office all the way up on Broward and University in Florida. And so I was on Cypress Creek. So anybody who knows Florida knows the distance. And I didn't know, the only road I know in Florida was University. So I drove University all the way to Broward Boulevard. Go up to this realtor's office and ask her to help me, to show me what to do. And she said she didn't know, but she put me on to the secretary and she showed me how to do it. And she practiced because her computer looks just like the ones at the office. So I wasn't freaking out anymore. And she showed me and she said, practice a couple of times, and I practiced and stuff. And then I drove like crazy back to go do the test, and I was successful. Had my interviews finished and everything. Short story. 2 weeks later, they call me and say, you have a job, so you can come to start working. So of course, my daughter and I, we packed up, and I went over to say goodbye to my stepmother because now they're living in New York City, and we went to go say goodbye. But, you know, of course, we were living on Martin Street, and you know, Brooklyn, there's no parking. You know, it's double park. So I said, okay, go upstairs and tell them goodbye, and tell them I can't get in the park, so I'll talk to them. And she went up. But then my stepmother came down and she said, come on up, man, come on up. I made some food and stuff, and she wanted to give me some food and stuff. And I'm like, no, there's no parking, it's okay. And just as I said that, I hear an engine start right in front of me. I'm double parked now. I'm double parked, and I hear an engine start. I didn't even see when this guy went into the car. The engine started and the car pulled out right in front of me. So I had no excuse. I had to go and park. So I parked the car, went upstairs. And for some strange reason, I was led into the room where this person was. And I went in the room and I told them that I forgive him. And that he needs to forgive himself. It wasn't me. I promise you it wasn't me.
Can't be.
It was not me.
We don't have it in us.
No.
We don't have it in us. Can't
and be. When I walked out of that room,
the release.
I was not this girl. I'm getting cold bumps even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Somebody took a ton of load off my head. Mm-hmm. When I walked out, I was floating. Mm-hmm. I was floating. So I saw my stepmother looking at me, and she looking at me strange. And I'm like, what happened? She said, what happened? You're glowing.
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, I said, oh, I just told him that I forgive him. And she got on the phone and she called in my siblings. And I don't know, was a big excitement. And then I walked downstairs and my daughter at the time, I believe my daughter was turning 15 and she looked at me. She said, Mommy, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. She said, Mom, you are so bright. What happened? All that
Carlene,
darkness.
do you even realize what you just said? At 15,
Mm-hmm.
you had to be put through the pain of the abortion, right? And probably one of the darkest moments of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Here at 15, your daughter got to see her mom's chains fall off.
Mm-hmm.
It is just unbelievable the plans that he has for us if we
Yeah, oh my
walk in
gosh.
obedience.
Mm-mm.
If we just if we let him be the courage
Mm-hmm.
that we
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
have.
Yeah.
What a breakthrough.
Yeah.
What a breakthrough. Ooh, okay. So number three. Number three.
Um, Number 3, therapy. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I can't stress it enough.
Yeah.
My first paper, I was in seminary, and my first class was with Dr. Selichek, and he said to write my life story, and I only gave him a piece of it because I didn't want to overwhelm him.
Yeah.
And he called me in his office, and he took my hand, and he says, "I'm going to sign you up for therapy. Will you go for therapy?"
We love Dr. Check.
And I said, yeah, but I don't want, and I was like, no, I don't want so and so, and I want somebody who understand and who this, and right away, I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Because I have these barriers, and I don't want somebody to judge me, and I don't want somebody to look down on me. So right away, I'm being, and it so happened that his wife she just completed her doctorate, and she was a psychology, and I went in to see her, and I'm telling you,
Auntie Bev is the best.
I'm
Wow.
telling you,
you and I had talked, when we're again in the salon. So this is salon talk, right? This is behind the scene of salon talk. And we were even talking about that, and I said my new mantra is that I deserve therapy. I deserve it. I deserve it. And the stigma behind it, especially within the Black community, is that we don't do that. And again, both you and I are of Caribbean descent, and we don't. What is that? That doesn't exist because there are family secrets. You have to protect the house.
Yes.
And bring shame on the family name, especially if it's within the home that stuff is happening. You can't do that because there is this pride and this need to uphold, and so we have to eat all the trauma
and carry it with us.
In silence and carry it. And then later on in life, or some people younger, it manifests itself in all kinds of physical ailments, cancer, this, that, and the other. And then we die. And what? It dies with us inside of us.
And it's a cycle, It's a generational curse, and cycle keeps going and keeps going. You have to break the chain. You have to stop it. Yes. You have to.
Broke it. You went to therapy to begin your journey. Wow. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy that I knew you. I think these are 3 practical things that anyone can do. And sometimes it doesn't happen in order, so be patient with yourself. There's sometimes these walls are so thick that it takes other things to break it down first before you can give access to those other things. I'm really looking forward to the book.
Yes,
I'm going to be on you. I'm going to stay on you. I'm looking forward to the book, and I'm grateful that we're friends beyond the nails and the feet. and I'm also grateful for that day where you let me know that I wasn't alone. in my story. And I feel that, the sister bond is for life. I miss you
Yes.
terribly. But I believe without a shadow of a doubt that the Holy Spirit was in this conversation and that somebody, Carlene, is free because of you, or at least
Yes.
started the chains. You just started those chains to break. Someone must have called out to God. I believe it with all my heart because this here is not, you know what I mean? This is not human stuff here. And the very fact that you're sitting here smiling and you can tell your story with such strength. And even though we cry, it's not cries of weakness.
No.
It's more tears of, there's a mixture of gratitude and yes,
joy.
Sometimes you feel a scar, and if there's scars have sensitivity to it because sometimes it's a little sensitive rubbing on there, but it's healed. It's just the skin is just really thin, right? Really, really sensitive. So you find these tears where we may rub on the scar or talk about it, but it doesn't change the fact that you are an overcomer. You are victorious. You are a child of God. You have been broken free, and you are living to tell the enemy that you tried it, and that's all you did.
Yes,
you tried it. That's no weapon. That is your mantra. There is no weapon that he tried that prospered. For any of you who are watching, if you're in any one of those stages, just know that there's hope. And just like Carlene and myself did, we figured out through whether mentorship or prayer, there's something inside of you that you were born with that is the answer, the creativity to answer the questions that you have and the need that you have. She had that creative side of her that she used to launch her business. And even though, like she said, she did not have a high school education, but she has graduated with a dual master's, an MBA,
only God,
social work degree, and her beautician license, her nail beautician license. So don't let education or lack thereof stop you. There is absolutely no excuse. Plus, she had all this trauma. So she literally had everything was against her, but she found a way to figure it out, and look at her right now. So there's hope for you. Tell yourself, there's hope for me. If she can do it, I can do it. So say that, and it can be done. So
one last word.
One
last word I want to leave with you, Latoya, is that this is now my new motto. Never allow what somebody says, the negative somebody says about you, the negativity, the negative things that someone says about you define who you are. You're a child of God. He loves you. And each day that you're awake is a new day to live. Just live. Don't let people's negativity keep you down.
Just live. Speaking my mantra too.
Yes.
Just live. Thank you so much, darling. And we'll talk soon.
Yes.
Until another live talk. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Live Talks. I hope that you were inspired and that you have felt a rejuvenation in your life. And I hope that what you are saying right now is that the answer that you are given to what life has thrown at you is that I am still here. Email us with your Live Talk ideas at mylifetalkstv@gmail.com. See you next time.